Coming up on Sports Paws, both soccer teams compete in the MAAC playoffs.
Women's volleyball has their last home slate of the 2025 season against St. Peter's and Ryder.
And the men's ice hockey team begins conference play, and the women's ice hockey team faces off against St. Lawrence and Clarkson at home.
All this and more coming up on Sports Paws, starting right now. Welcome back to Studio 125 for another edition of Sports Paws. I'm Brittney Bronleben.
And I'm Brianna Trachtenberg. Brittney, we're starting this week off with some huge news surrounding the field hockey program.
After 8 years of playing in the Big East Conference, Quinnipiac Field Hockey announced they will be rejoining the NEC. The Bobcats are a part of the conference from 1988 to 2012.
Quinnipiac will be joining 9 other teams for field hockey in the NEC, including fellow affiliates Fairfield, Merrimack Ryder, and Sacred Heart. The Bobcats will be eligible to begin competing for the NEC Championship title immediately in 2026-2027.
Sophomore midfielder Francisca Escoes announced in an Instagram post that she will be transferring. Escoes had 13 goals and 9 assists on the season and was named a Big East Co-Offensive Player of the Year. After 2 seasons in Hanvin, Escoes is tied for second place in program history for the most points in a singular season.
After winning their 4th championship in a row, women's cross-country head coach Carolyn Martin took home another accolade. She was selected as MAAC Women's Coach of the Year for the 4th consecutive year and 5th time overall in her career. Quinnipiac had a winning score of 36 at the championships, boasting 5 All-MAAC runners who finished in the top 15. In total, Quinnipiac has taken home 5 MAAC championships, including their win back in 2015.
Now to the soccer pitch, the number 2 seeded Bobcats took on the 3 seeded Canisius in the MAAC Women's Soccer semifinals.
For the second year in a row, these teams would match up for a spot in the MAAC championship.
The Quinnipiac women's soccer team took on the Canisius Golden Griffins in the MAAC semifinals. The Bobcats looking to get back to the MAAC championship for the 4th straight year. Marina Mahone takes down a Golden Griffin inside the box. After review, it's a penalty kick. Maggie Cregan goes to Olivia Jarvis right and into the net, 1-0 Canisius.
Mary Malloy takes down Molly Andrews and gets a red card. The Bobcats earn a free kick. Corey Anderson screens one like prime Messi past Chloe Saros. Tie game at 1. The whole team celebrating there on the sideline.
A long ball into the box. Morgan Cupo gets her head on it, but it's blocked on the line by a defender. There will be no more scoring. We're heading to overtime.
A Quinnipiac corner is headed down and finds Cupo's foot, but blocked by Megan Jorger and cleared, still tied at 1.
Another corner kick is headed down by Cupo and kicked into the net. But wait, the referee waves it off as it was kicked out of the hands of Sarah. Let's take a closer look at this. The game would remain tied and would head to a penalty shootout.
The shootout is tied at 3. Canisius needs 1 more goal to win. Lizzie Harkness steps up and delivers. Canisius wins the shootout 4-3, sending Quinnipiac home in the semifinals for the first time in 4 years. The Golden Griffins moved on to the MAAC championship and hosted the Sacred Heart Pioneers on Sunday. The Pioneers would defeat the Golden Griffins 1-0 in penalties in a snowy affair and will advance to the NCAA tournament. With their loss to Canisius, this marks the first time in 4 seasons the team hasn't made it to the MAAC championship. Q30's Rose Corrada has more on the story.
The Quinnipiac women's soccer team pushed their MAAC semifinal match past regulation and into double overtime before losing to Canisius in a shootout.
Disappointing way to lose. It's not good. It's a great way to win. It's a terrible way to lose. The experience of getting in here, this will hurt for a while. They've got to learn and grow from it.
The Bobcats locked down the Golden Griffins for majority of the match and kept the shots 15-6 in regulation.
We got players into great positions the first couple of seconds of overtime. So in terms of that, creating those chances and the set plays, I think it was 19-2 in corners. Yeah. If you don't convert, but as I said, they defended well and the keeper did well on those plays.
The Quinnipiac women's soccer team was dominant on the pitch against Canisius and has been dominant across the MAAC for years. But there's more on the horizon for them yet.
This is the first time in 4 years they haven't been in a final, so the record's been broken. It's a tough way to go out, but they'll learn from it. They've got to absorb it and then come back and get better and stronger and fitter next year. We'll continue to try and until we can't, and now it's about, all right, getting back here. We had everything, home field advantage, finished second in the league. Now they got to go build on it.
This loss not only means the end of the season for Quinnipiac, but the end of a collegiate career for many of the team's star players.
Senior class obviously have been part of a successful program. I mean, Molly, Millie, Morgan, you throw Gwen in as well. Maddie Al's been a tremendous player. They can go out with their heads held high. They've won 2 championships. They've been in for 3 finals plus a semi-final. They've sort of led this young team and all these young players forward. So they've left them a good legacy to follow.
Reporting for Q30 Sports, I'm Rose Carrata.
The men's soccer team took a trip up to North Andover, Massachusetts to take on the MAAC Warriors. In a win and in-game, the Bobcats defeated the Warriors 3-2. Quinnipiac scored all 3 of their goals in the second half, again to give them a come-from-behind win. Luke Steinbach, Benjamin Telly, and Sivert Rolsdalsnes all scored for the Bobcats. With the win, the Bobcats clinched postseason play, and number 6 seeded Quinnipiac took a trip south to face the number 3 seeded Iona Gales in the first round. The Bobcats have reached the postseason 12 times in the last 14 years, but the result was the same as last year. The Gales defeated the Bobcats with the score of 5-0. The Bobcats took 10 shots, but none of them found the back of the net. Alvaro Monero scored a hat-trick for the Gales, and goalie Fernando Alves-Schmelz recorded a shutout. Iona will play number 2 Siena in the next round of the MAAC playoffs.
After the loss, Q30's Beckett Calkins recaps the Bobcat seasons of ups and downs.
On Sunday, Quinnipiac was eliminated by Iona 5-0 in the MAAC quarterfinal round. This season was a season of up and downs and highs and lows for head coach Eric DaCosta.
From day one, it's been a season of challenges, and we've had to overcome a lot of things, and the last 3 days was just a culmination of where the season was.
Despite dealing with unforeseen hurdles, DaCosta is proud of the way his team prepared.
Only a select group of people know what we've been through in the last 36 hours, so for them to actually be on the field and for us to be able to field 11 players and for those guys to put an effort in that they did, regardless of the scoreline and the result.
While Quinnipiac has 9 seniors and grad students who will have the opportunity to move on, the identity for Quinnipiac men's soccer has already been built.
We always talk about, culture in our program, and culture is people, and replacing soccer players is an easy thing for us to do, but replacing good people is the hard part.
With the win, Iona moves on to the MAAC semifinal round, just 2 wins away from NCAA tournament berth. For Q30 Sports, for the last time, I'm Beckett Calkins.
While the Bobcats may be eliminated from the MAAC playoffs, 2 members have still earned All-MAAC honors. Sophomore midfielder Sivert Rolsdalsnes was named to the All-MAAC first team, and sophomore forward William Holland was named to the All-MAAC third team. Rolsdalsnes led the team in goals and finished the season with 7 goals and 4 assists, while Holland was second on the team and finished with 4 goals and 1 assist.
Men's basketball beat reporter Thomas Curtis and women's basketball beat reporter Patrick McGugan are here to recap both teams' Thursday's matchups against CCSU and Rutgers, respectively.
They also previewed the doubleheader on Tuesday happening up at M&T Bank Arena, where they are now. Guys, take it away.
Thanks, guys. The men's basketball team took care of business against CCSU 71-59 on Thursday. They were paced in scoring by Amari Monroe, who had 20. He's going to be their leading scorer majority of the time. Jaden Zimmerman had 19. He had 12 of the first 27 points for the Bobcats in the first half. He's going to be their number 2 scorer. But it's Grant Randall, the sophomore, who had 14 points, a career high, also pulled down 8 boards for Quinnipiac. Just a good source of energy in the starting lineup there for the sophomore. One thing to note for CCSU is they hung with the Bobcats in the rebounding category, which is something we might see going forward for Quinnipiac, as they don't have a true 5. But CCSU did stick with them, so that's something to monitor as the season goes on. And coming up on Tuesday at the Bank, it's the Battle of Whitney Ave, with Yale coming into town. An Ivy League foe, one team that has made the tournament the last 2 years, is really a competitive matchup for Quinnipiac on Tuesday.
Speaking of Thursday and rebounding, the women's basketball team traveled to Piscataway, New Jersey to take on Rutgers. They had a tough 64-55 loss, but they controlled 3 out of the 4 quarters. They went into the 4th with a 6-point lead, trying to fend off the Rutgers attack. They were unable to, though. Rutgers challenged Quinnipiac with a 26-11 fourth quarter. Even though the Bobcats didn't have a defensive answer, offensively they were pretty solid with Jackie Grisdale, leading the scoring with 19 points, followed nicely by Ella Ryan, who had 14 and was hitting from 3 all night long. Thomas, you mentioned Yale on Tuesday. Before that, at 5 p.m., women's basketball home opener, taking on St. John's in the Bay.
Pat, it's going to be plenty of fun on Tuesday. A little chance for students to get into the bank at 5 and stay all the way till 9 for maybe 2 wins for the Bobcats. But that's all the time we have here. We're going to send it back to the desk for Brittney and Brianna.
After all that sports news, it's time for us to take our first break of the night. But don't go anywhere, as volleyball had their last home games of the season against St. Peter's and Ryder. Bobcats are still looking to get home court advantage in the playoffs.
And we'll take a look to see how the men's ice hockey team did in their opening weekend of conference play against Whitney Ave rival Yale and Brown.
Emma, did you hear?
Todd's in the hospital.
Who's Todd? He got a collapsed lung from vaping. He thought it was cool.
Not cool.
Promise you won't vape, Emma. It can lead to a lifelong addiction, and we can't be friends if your lungs collapse.
Bogus.
Wacky sitcom teens aren't the best people to talk to your kid about vaping.
Hey, you got a minute?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Meet the scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you.
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
As a dad, every day is a challenge. To make sure that the time that I spend with them, it doesn't matter how tired you are, you have to try to teach them. When they learn something new, and you can just see in their faces, it's such an incredible moment. It's those moments that are my favorite.
Gracie and Pedro might not get along so well.
They're standing on my tail.
But there's one thing they agree on. There's a right seat for everyone.
Oh, that's the good stuff.
Whether you're a dog,
Hold on, Pooch.
a cat, a fish, or a rat.
And I'm a ferret.
Be sure to travel safe.
How can you be so sure? I'm absolutely positive.
On your next adventure, make sure your children are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Welcome back to Sports Paws. Volleyball hosted St. Peter's on Friday in their last home slate of the 2025 season. The Quinnipiac Bobcats took on the St. Peter's Peacocks on Friday night. The Bobcats will continue their 9-game winning streak. Dom Ganesh, with the second serve of the night, is going to send it over. Peacock struggled to receive it, and she's going to get the service ace. Ganesh dives to keep the ball alive, finds Asia Belli. Belli sets up Ginevra Givagnoni, and she gets the kill. Carola Negron Diaz finds Ganesh, who gets it to Leilani Kaijusta, and a huge kill by her. Bobcats win the first set, 25-11. Moving to the second set, Justa sends it over to Ganesh. Ganesh finds Belli on the slide, and Belli gets the kill. Ganesh sends it over to the St. Peter's side. The Peacocks send it back, and Milena Silva tips it over for the kill. KU wins set 2, 25-18. Justa dives to the ball, gets it to Ganesh, sets up Givagnoni, and she gets the cross-court kill. Ganesh sets up Tuana Turhan for her 5th kill of the year. KU wins set 3, 25-19. The Bobcats won this matchup in a 3-set sweep. Quinnipiac's next matchup is back in Burkcom Court on Saturday against the Ryder Bronx.
After their win, the volleyball team returned to the court to take on the Bronx on senior day. The Bobcats coming in on a 10-game winning streak. First set action now. Bobcats looking to tie it up early. Damla Ganesh gets the service ace to start the day. Later on, her sister Yamir Ganesh gets a service ace for herself. End of the set now, Damla Ganesh sets up Ginevra Givagnoni, who fires her cross court for the kill. Quinnipiac wins the first set, 25-16. Second set, Yamir Ganesh will get the Bobcats going early with a huge block, scores 2-1. A bit later, the ball is kept alive, and Damla Ganesh gets a sneaky with the dump for the point, 7-3 Quinnipiac. Towards the end of the set, Ryder's Molly Rowe tries to go for the middle, but Milena Silva denies the request. Later, senior Tuana Turan gets in on the action with a kill of her own. Quinnipiac wins the second set, 25-13. Third set, Joe Vagnoni sends it over. Ryder trying to get momentum, but Elena Giacomini and Milena Silva get the double block. Joe Vagnoni gets the service ace in the third after a Ryder error, and Bobcats 1 point away. Ball is bumped to Clara Ozuska, gets the Sutter dunk for the win on senior day. The Bobcats finish the third set with a 25-16 score. Quinnipiac seals the victory in straight sets. Ginevra Joe Vagnoni led the Bobcats in kills.
With 1 weekend left in the regular season, let's take a look at the MAAC volleyball standings. In first place is Fairfield with a 15-1 record. Quinnipiac is in second, followed by Niagara. Ryder rounds up the top 4. Only the top 4 teams have so far clinched a playoff position. Fifth and sixth place have Siena and Canisius with an 8-8 record. Merrimack, Sacred Heart, and Marist are in the middle of the pack with a 7-9 record. Iona, St. Peter's, and Manhattan are the bottom 3 teams.
After an impressive first month at Quinnipiac, one Bobcat has earned his second award of his collegiate career. Forward Ethan Winnebach has been named as ECAC Hockey Rookie of the Month. After earning his first collegiate point in the win against Boston College, he went on a 6-game point streak, the only first year to do so in the country. Winnebach has averaged 8 points in 8 games for the month of October, earning 4 goals and 4 assists for the Bobcats. After a Tuesday loss to Alaska Fairbanks, Winnebach and the rest of the Bobcats traveled down Whitney Ave on Friday for their first conference game of the year. The Bobcats are looking to continue their long-running win streak against the Bulldogs, with Quinnipiac currently being 17-0 against Yale since 2018. Heading into the first period, Ethan Winnebach gets an early breakaway 2 minutes in and passes it in front of the crease. Anton Verone puts it in between the pads to put Quinnipiac up 1-0. 8 minutes later, swift zone entry from Aaron Schwartz. He spins back and drops it to Charlie Reddy, who rockets it from the top circle. It's 2-0 Bobcats halfway through the first period. Yale is looking to answer back. James Shannon skates up the center and makes a swift pass to David Andrzejczyk, who finds the gap in Dylan Silverstein and cuts Quinnipiac's lead in half. Heading into the second period, not much action until the 16-minute mark, where James Shannon takes advantage of a lone breakaway down the right lane. He fires it far down to tie the game. Heading into the third period, Ronan O'Donnell pressures a Quinnipiac defender, and David Chen sweeps up the fumble and dekes Silverstein. The Bulldogs are up 3-2. It's the first time that they've scored that many goals against the Bobcats since 2018. Time is expiring now at Ingles Rink. It's 17 seconds. A dump out of Yale zone by Hudson Miller gives Ronan O'Donnell an empty netter opportunity. Quinnipiac tries to backtrack, but they can't catch up, and they bury that one. 4-2 victory for Yale. They win the Battle Whitney Ave matchup for the first time since February 9th, 2018, putting Quinnipiac's winning streak to end. Quinnipiac is now 0-1 in conference play after the loss. With the Bobcats now 0-1 in ECAC play, they look to see if they could bounce back against Brown on Saturday. While it was a close one for Quinnipiac, they were able to pull off the 4-3 win in overtime. Senior forward Jeremy Wimmer earned his third multi-point game of the season after scoring 30 seconds left in overtime to earn the win. Matthew Lansing kicked off scoring for the Bobcats in the first period, with Chris Pelosi and Mason Marcellus both adding one on in the second until the Bears tied it in the third. Quinnipiac moves to a 6-3-2 overall record. After a surprising loss to Yale and an overtime win to Brown, let's see where the Bobcats fall in this week's USCHO polls. Quinnipiac only ended up dropping 5 spots to land at number 10. Michigan State stayed in first place after receiving all 50 first place votes. Minnesota, Duluth, and Denver also moved into the top 5 for this week, sitting at 3 and 4 respectively. Quinnipiac will face off against number 13 Boston University on Saturday in Hamden.
2 women's ice hockey players took home monthly awards from 2 organizations. Kaylin LaMarche was named as the Co-Forward of the Month for the HCA and was named as the ECAC Hockey Forward of the Month. LaMarche had 14 goals and 8 assists during the first 11 games of the season. A couple weekends ago, when Northeastern came to town, LaMarche scored 7 goals. Michaela Watson also got some recognition, receiving an honorable mention from the HCA for the Defender of the Month and was named as the ECAC Hockey Defender of the Month. The sophomore had a goal and 8 assists in 11 games. The Bobcats opened their weekend with a game against St. Lawrence. The number 7 ranked Quinnipiac taking on St. Lawrence on Friday. Bobcats looking to win their opening matchup with the Saints this season. Just over 3 minutes in, there's a puck battle in the corner. Tessa Hulk finds Kayla LaMarche for the Bobcats as she puts the Bobcats up 1-0 early in this one. Tessa Hulk finds LaMarche for another goal. That's her 19th goal of the season, the most in the NCAA. St. Lawrence looking to net their first goal of the game, but Felicia Frank had other plans with this stop. She notched 22 saves in this one. Check out the defense from Quinnipiac here, swatting the puck away. Moving to the third period, we're going to have a shot deflection that finds a Saints player's stick, and St. Lawrence cuts the lead in half. It's 2-1 Bobcats. A few minutes later, the Hamden native Kylie Mitzel stuns the Bobcats crowd, and the Saints tie it up, game at 2. Hulk would try and sneak one past the goalie, but it wouldn't be enough, and we're heading to overtime. The Bobcats in overtime look for a hero, and the hero in this game would be Tessa Hulk, who finds the net after a deflection. And Quinnipiac snatches a victory from the jaws of defeat and a win by a thriller by a score of 3-2. LaMarche also had her 7th multi-goal game of the season, adding to her historic campaign.
With one win of the weekend under their belts, Quinnipiac looked to continue that momentum into Saturday's game against Clarkson. Neither team was able to score in regulation or overtime, leading to a 0-0 tie. The Golden Knights were able to take the win in the shootout, with Janelle Evans scoring the lone goal of the game. Quinnipiac's Felicia Frank continued her strong season with 32 saves, matching her career high against Brown on October 25th.
After all that game action, let's take a look at this week's USCHO polls. Compared to last week, the top 7 teams remain the same. Wisconsin stays in first place with all 20 votes, followed by Minnesota, Ohio State, and Cornell. The Bobcats stayed in 7th place after going 1-0-1 on the weekend. Northeastern moved up 1 place to 8th, and UConn dropped 1 spot to 9th. Yale and St. Cloud State tied for 10th place.
We have to head into our final commercial break of the night. But when Sports Paws returns, we'll take a look at one golf team member who earned a MAAC award after an impressive performance during the month of October.
And of course, we still have my favorite part of the show, the top 5 plays of the week. I sure hope volleyball or women's basketball make the cut. Stay with us.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing that keeps us focused. A habit we never skip to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game, to drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health? Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and mental health. Discover the resources you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
Reporting from the Grove for Q30 News.
Reporting from the Miller Library for Q30 News.
Reporting from the Mount Carmel campus for Q30 News.
Reporting on Whitney Ave for Q30 News.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Welcome back to Sports Paws. While the fall tennis season may be over for most of the women's tennis team, one Bobcat isn't quite done yet. Sophomore Willow Benton was named as MAAC Women's Player of the Month after winning the MAAC Masters Women's Singles Championship and Doubles Championship with Caitlin Flower. They earned a trip to the ITA Conference Masters this past weekend. Benton was eliminated in the first round of the singles and in the first round of the doubles with Flower, and going 0-7 in overtime against Old Dominion.
From the courts to the course, Samantha Galantini won MAAC Women's Golfer of the Month. In the month of October, she competed in 2 tournaments. At the Quinnipiac Classic, Galantini finished in a tie for 11th place as she helped the Bobcats win the team title. Galantini finished in a tie for 5th place at the Lady Blue Hen Invitational. She carded a best round score of 70, which is 2 under par in the final round in Delaware. Sometimes family isn't just your direct unit, it's the team around you. Brianna, you talked with head coach Kyle Robinson and his daughter Zoe about her experience with the team. Let's take a look.
We're, a volleyball family. My wife also played on the national team, so this is our life. And my 2 older kids grew up in the gym, and my younger ones are brought up in the gym. I don't think there's any better place for young people to grow up more than a university or college campus.
Growing up, Kyle Robinson's daughter Zoe has been surrounded by volleyball. A volleyball player herself, now she's had the opportunity to learn from the Bobcats.
This is my 2nd year doing preseason with them. I think I've grown so much as a player. Now I'm an outside, used to be a middle. So playing wise, I think I'm so much better technically, and just I think it just helps you grow all skills, everything.
While having a parent as a coach is never easy, Zoe and her parents have learned how to make the most out of it.
I think we have a good balance. I mean, in the gym, he's coach. Same thing with my mom. She's my coach too. And then I still kind of get that at home. We talk about it all the time, watching video, different things on the couch. But I think it's very easy to learn from them and take things from them, as they're also my parents.
Zoe has become a key member of the team, with her and the players learning from each other.
She's amazing, and honestly, I think she's mentoring us in a way. She's been practicing with us every day in preseason. When she doesn't have school, she comes and grinds with us. She's a tough player, and I love her.
I love Zoe. I love when she comes practice with us. She's just like a great volleyball player and a great person too. So having to spend that time with her was awesome.
Family runs deep at Quinnipiac Volleyball, and everyone on the team is part of Coach Kyle Robinson's family. Reporting from the Burt Court, Brianna Trachtenberg, Q30 Sports.
Brianna, the one thing I hate more than assignments is going on Sports Paws and not having a fun top 5 toss. Well, Brittney, I have to agree with you, but guess what? It's time for Sports Paws Top 5. Play number 5, starting on the ice, Tessa Hope along the boards. Great play to get by the defender. She gets to Kaylee Lamarche and she buries it to make it 1-0. Staying on the ring for play 4, Mason Marcellus on the rush, hustles past the defense and brings it to the backhand for the 3-1 goal. Bobcats took this one 4-3 in overtime. Now onto the court for play 3. Asim Jones gives it to Mario Monroe, who slams it home to make it 24-19. Play 2 later in that game, big block by Jaden Zimmerman. Now in transition, he finds Grant Randall for the dunk. Bobcats win this one 71-49. And back to the ice for play number 1. Absolute wizardry from Ethan Winnenbach in the shootout to go backhand, forehand, and pot the goal. Look at the replay there. Great goal. Quinnipiac dropped this one in the shootout, but the game ended in a 2-2 tie. After that goal, Brianna, big game for the men's ice hockey team this weekend. Do you have goal scorers for this weekend? I'm going to have to go with Ethan Winnenbach. We just saw him for in the first play for top 5. And for BU, I'm going to have to go with Cole Eisenman with his possible return for the weekend. Well, I do hate to say goodbye, Brittney, but unfortunately that is all the time we have for tonight on Sports Paws. Stay up to date on all things Quinnipiac sports by following Q30 Sports on X and Instagram. Check out our website as well at q30tv.com. Make sure to tune in on Saturday for Bobcat Game Day, as we'll have all your pregame, intermission, and postgame coverage for the men's ice hockey game against Boston University starting at 3:15 p.m. Thank you to all the producers and everyone working hard behind the scenes. For Brianna Trachtenberg, I'm Brittney Bronleben. Have a splendid evening, Bobcats.